皆さんこんばんは。私が今いるのはソニーグループ本社の中にあるソニースクエアという一般非公開の施設です。ここはソニーの最新テクノロジーや最新のエンターテインメントを体験できるショールームとなっています。詳しくはまた後ほどお届けいたしますが、このソニースクエアから4日間生配信でお届けするアンロック with ソニーがいよいよスタートします。ソニーがクリエイターの方々と考えるエンタメの未来を皆さんにもご覧いただこうという
We want to share with you our vision for future entertainment, and we'll do this with the creators, and we'll be covering many different themes over the 4 days. Music, movie, animation, virtual space, and also live distribution of music. We'll be looking at how different types of entertainments will be intermingled with each other. So today, we will start the program for Unlock with Sony. We'll be sharing all these thrills and excitements with you. Good evening once again. My name is Kosuke Hiraiwa. I'm the MC for today's program. I would like to start with the overview of this event, Unlock with Sony. The concept for this program is Spark Your Curiosity for the Next. And we will be delivering various content which will be supported by the future creators and also Sony's technologies. We're hoping to stimulate your curiosity over the 4 days for the future and discover new, never seen before entertainment. So this is going to be an online event that will really unlock the possibility. Please share your thoughts and questions in the comment box, or use this hashtag and share your thoughts on SNS. We also have a section where your question will be answered by the people who will be on the program, and this is also available in the English language. Select a preferred language on the right corner of the event page, please. Now, as I mentioned before, we're coming to you live from Sony Square in Sony Group headquarters. Electronics, movies, music, game, all types of entertainments are covered by Sony Group. The group also provides financial services in Japan. It has a really diverse business portfolio. And this is the only showroom in the world that will enable you to experience the present and the future of the whole Sony Group. And I actually joined the Sony Square tour the other day, and I was amazed to know how many things Sony is doing. And this is something that you can experience firsthand in this facility. Of course, there is a movie business, so there is a set that was used for the Spider-Man movie. And also, the latest technology display is here, right behind me. And also, there is a PlayStation section. All of these exhibits are really enjoyable at Sony Square. So this venue itself is already properly stimulating your curiosity. Now I would like to explain what we'll be doing over the next 4 days. Music creators meet AI flow machines. New generation creators experience flow machine, which is AI-assisted composing tool. So we'll talk about what's so attractive about flow machines and also what kind of possibilities AIs can bring for the future of music making. Day 2. How virtual space expands creative horizons. Sword Art Online, X Chronicle. The virtual world is really coming. We have top creators including Yoichi Ochiai and also young engineers from Sony Group engaging in serious discussions. Liberating artist creativity, leading edge live entertainment. Creators who belong to B, social creator label, they usually engage with their fans over the screen. But on day 3, they'll deliver B Creator Stage together with Sony Music Project. And there's going to be a passionate discussion among the creators, engineers, and producers. Be immersed in sound from every direction, 360 degrees reality audio live experience. 緑黄色社会, which is a 4-piece band, playing the valuable track, which is turned into 360 reality audio. And the filmmaking that transcends time and space, virtual production. Shinichiro Ueda, who was part of DVOC 12, which is a project that supports the creators during the current pandemic, will participate. And he will talk about how virtual production was used. Miyako Evans, who's also part of DVOC 12, will talk about the future of movie making. As you can see, this is going to be a really full program with all sorts of entertainments, futures being discussed. So entertainment, how it integrates and converges with technology. And I'm sure that you'll have many new discoveries, and you'll find many more things that you can enjoy. Now, after this, we will start with flow machines, where AI can help you make a piece of music. So we will be inviting producers and musicians and talk about melody and chord transitions created by AI. How is it used? And how do these people work with AI? And how are they transforming the music industry? We'll begin with the first program. Flow machines. Music creators meet AI. Good evening once again. Unlock with Sony is based on the concept of sparking your curiosity for the next. And we'll be delivering to you various content which is supported by creativity of future creators and Sony's technologies. We want to unlock and unleash the possibility of new entertainment never seen before and stimulate your curiosity for the future. And during the second half of the program, we have some time to answer your questions. Please use the comment box on the program page or use hashtag #UnlockWithSony and send us comments and questions. And please agree to the regulations and rules before you send in the comments. This program is also available in English. Please select the preferred language on the top right corner of the event page. Now, this is a remarkable day, first day of the program, and we have music creators meet AI, Flow Machines. Flow Machines is an AI-supported composition plugin developed by Sony CSL. And our creators will talk about their first-time experience of using Flow Machines. So we would like to first of all ask them to talk about curiosity, what they think curiosity is for them. We have tofubeats, music producer and and also the new generation track maker. Thank you. Curiosity is a heart that wants to know that it has never seen before. Thank you. Now, we also have Sohbana, who is part of a puzzle project for the next generation artist discovery by Sony Music Entertainment. He's a VOCALOID producer. Yes, thank you. I think curiosity means being interested in a lot of things. Thank you. We also have Yoshiaki Miura, who is member of Futarigoto music unit. Thank you. Curiosity means desire, wanting to know in areas that is not really your specialty. Thank you. So, you're a track maker, DJ, and also singers. You'll be talking about music making using flow machines. Now, AI has now entered the space of music making, tofubeats. How do you feel about that? Well, while I was doing this job as a producer, still, I never really thought that AI would be a part of my life. So it's really exciting.
So perhaps you felt that this was more of a futuristic thing? I've heard of AI in the news, but and I also heard that it was progressing. But I never thought that it would be at my fingertips. So, Miura-san, I do believe that the future is now in our hands, yes. And I do want more and more assistance, if possible. So hopefully they will become good partners for you. And flow machines, you've already used flow machines, so we hope that we can tap into some of your experiences. So let me ask the next question. So your music composition style, and how did you encounter music? Well, I started as a music amateur. So when I was very, very small, I would listen to songs that were being aired from the car stereo, and I think I got interested. I started from there, and now my composing style. Usually I work from 8 to the evening, and I also control some of my time and use my free time to compose as well. So that's basically my style. So Miura-san, what was your encounter with music, and how, or what is your composing style? So when I was back in high school, I started a music band, and I moved with my parents, and I joined a brass band because I was in a new high school, and I encountered new types of music, orchestra music, and so forth. So my compose style, I do vocal and composer. This is a unit called Futarigoto. So I'm in charge of that. And so we create really good demos. And then from there onwards, we would fine-tune and finish the piece. So you were in the brass band. And then eventually you create a band. But the reverse is quite interesting. Well, apparently at this new high school that I transferred to, a brass band lacked members. So what was the instrument? Percussion. I see. So when you were in the band, I was the guitar/vocalist. So you're pretty much the lone man. Right. But I think that that's led to wanting me to become more creative. And for you? I started off with the bass, but it did not work. And then I moved on to hip-hop. So, in other words, I did not need an instrument. So maybe close to AI, but I was being supported by equipment and pursued hip-hop. And from thereafter, I have never played an instrument. I use the computer to compose. But I think that that's the norm now, more or less, correct? Yes, I do think so as well. And when I started using the PC, I realized that I can actually compose, I can create music pieces. And I do believe that some of the viewers today may resonate with that feeling. So you are very dutifully using the computer, but then with this new advancement in technology, that will probably open up new doors for you. Yes, I think so. So you are using your hands, and you're creating something even more novel. Right. So AI is now an assist tool, and so Flow Machine embodies that. So hopefully we can hear more from you. But before we jump into the details, let us take a quick look at what Flow Machines is. So let me explain.
Sony
CSL is approaching Flow Machines in the area of music. This is an R&D endeavor as well as a social project to focus on expanding the creativity of the creators. Within this project, the AI Assist Compose tool Flow Machines Pro is focused and dedicated to the various aspects of creating music. You have lyrics, you have composing, you have editing, but AI is focusing on the composition part. The digital audio workstation is utilized as a plugin, and depending on the intent of the creator, the melody, the chords, and the bass will be combined, and AI will make proposals to the composer. Now, the VTR that you are seeing now and the BGM that you hear in the background, Wonk, Millennium Parade, Ayatake Ezaki, the musician, is using Flow Machines to create this BGM. So this AI can be used in a diverse range of genres of music. So we will look into the details of part 2.
So
for Flow Machines, we have 2 members from the puzzle project. You have actually used Flow Machines, so we have a quick video showing how you went about creating a music piece.
個人でボカロ P をしております。Sohbana と申します。よろしくお願いします。
So I'm from VOCALOID P. My name is Sohbana, and I am from the music unit Futarigoto. I'm the composer. My name is Miura. So I think this fits with A minor, and so we'll use the bass root as D code, so the chord, and so I think we don't really use this combination too much, but this AI actually presents that to us. It gives us that as candidates, which is quite a new finding. And you can actually tell that AI is thinking. So when we give it new instructions, it takes time, it takes longer, which is quite adorable. I wasn't very good at riffs, but rather than using all the melodies that is offered, we can actually fragment it down, break it down, and create loops out of selected pieces. So the melody, the chord, and the rhythm are all proposed at once. So you can just tweak the chords, or you can actually create it into a very unique music piece, which is actually quite good, I think. All right, so the two of you actually use Flow Machines, and so Sohbana-san, thoughts? It was very new from many aspects, because usually I have this workspace and you only see pieces that you've created in front of you, but you see these proposals. And so, for instance, a melody is created, and you actually fine-tune that, you process that, and it comes in like 30-second spans. So it's quite a new world. And it's high quality. Do you think? I think so. Obviously, there are some that just won't work, which happens in real life as well, but it was very interactive. It was quite interesting. So this, you don't need to go through that hustle of communication. I don't want this part. Let's cut this part off. So flow machines, I think, it gives you this diversity. I think that's quite interesting. Yes, so Miura-san, what about you? So when you are trying to compose something, obviously this will trigger ideas, but when you're trying to arrange a piece and you're concentrating enclosed in your own world, this so-called third-party offering is actually quite helpful, and if something good comes along, I would like to use it. And so Sohbana-san, you were using the guitar, I think, in the video, and I think many people are not good with chord progression. So if the AI could do it for you, I think that's quite novel, isn't it? Yes. So when you ponder, it might be difficult to explain this, but you just select one chord at this side, at the extreme, and you can actually eliminate the redundancy. So it actually complements areas that you're a bit negative with. So Flow Machines does that for you. So what did you feel looking at this video? So I used the plugin as well, but as the two said, you are a creator, you're doing your work on your own, and then you hit a wall. But then in a very positive way, it gives you a flow of new ideas, which is very, very, again, interesting. It's true, because you're in front of your PC, you're creating music, and if you have your band members, somebody might just do a simple bass line, play the guitar, give you ideas, trigger ideas. But if you're doing it alone, that doesn't happen. So right. So it's a good partner. It's like a friend that is giving me, ideas, because I rarely create with somebody else. So it's quite a new experience for me.
So we'll come back to the screen later and talk about style palettes. So maybe this will affect the way you make music, do you think? I think so, because the AI is suggesting new cards for my hand. So that means it is a good disruptive tool for music making process if it's already fixed. Sohbana, is that true? You maybe get stuck with similar melody lines? Yes, I think flow machines can help me liberate from that. What do you think? Yes, I think it's the same. It's helpful. So AI is suggesting chords and melodies to you. How naturally does that happen? Sohbana. There are multiple templates, and I think more details will be explained during the second half of the program. But if you just follow the template, you end up with something that sounds fine, sounds good, and you can actually adjust that. Miura-san, what do you think about the quality and the atmosphere of the melody line that is produced? Some melody that can be used as a song, and also some nice machine-like phrase, like repeated phrase. That's also very useful. So Sohbana-san, you said flow machines is quite cute. You feel affection. Yes, sometimes flow machines ends up taking a long time thinking about something, and if my instruction is bad, flow machines cannot really do a good job. So it's like a boss and a team member kind of relationship. So how do you think you can live with this type of tool? I think moving away from your usual pattern is very positive, it's good. And also you can teach the application things that you like. So depending on what you want to do, I think this application can do many different things. So there's AI and also machine learning as a tool. So we can expect the system to continue to evolve in terms of ease of use and quality. Okay, so we saw the video of how film machines could be used. Now, the iPad version was released this month. And actually today, we have the iPad version available right now, right here. tofubeats, you have the iPad version in front of you? Yes, I'm using that right now. When you open the screen, this is what you see. To the left, you see various music genres like electronica, jazz fusion, bright pop, J-pop, anime, so on and so forth. You just select one. Let's try J-pop J001 as a template. So this is style palette J-pop. Now the music is already being played. So as you can see at the bottom of the screen, I hope you can see this. These are the chords. And the chord is being played. The melody is being played. It will produce maybe 1,000 different melodies, one after the other. And you can find one that you like and use it for your own piece of music. So if you think of a melody, for example, there's harmony, duration, and complex. You can change these parameters in order to adjust the kind of melody that AI will suggest to you. Harmony is making sure that the phrases are in line with the key, or maybe you want to be slightly off key, and you can change that. Right now it's 1.0, it means that it's perfect match. Duration is probably easy to understand. Let's change the duration to 1. This is longer, and what happens is it takes a little bit of time to take it in, but as you can see, the sound is now much longer than before. So the suggested melody is now, this is almost like 0 and 1. But anyway, you can go back to the shorter duration. Oh, you can mix it up too. Yes, we can go back to 0.5, and then the melody will transition more quickly. And you can take one section and expand the duration or shorten the duration just for this particular section. So let's try to do that. Just in section G and C, the melody, the tone is longer. You can also change the background chords. For example, you can replace C with something else. For example, C sus4 with a bit of tension. If this is what you want to do, you can change the chord and name it and save it. And this original chord transition will be used as a basis for the new melody that is generated by the AI. As you can see, AI will generate so many different melodies for you. Maybe we'll try a different style. Yes, that melody was really J-pop, wasn't it? Yeah. Shall we try jazz fusion? Let's do that. Now it sounds more jazzy, and the tempo is completely different from J-pop. Maybe the duration's too long. Maybe I hit the button by mistake. So AI is trying to think of a suggestion. This is very quick, isn't it? Yes, it's very quick. The response is very quick. And sometimes there are too many suggestions and proposals. I cannot catch up. As you can see, many more suggestions will come up. And there is a like button, and if you press this, this music is recorded on iPad. This can be transformed into MIDI data, which means that you can actually use it for composing music. So let's try to keep using AI. Wow, it's ad-libbing quite a lot.
じゃあちょっともう一個ぐらい言ってきます？
Should we try another style?
これ三浦さん今までの作曲のスタイルと違って、
So this is different from how you used to compose before. I think you spend more time listening to suggestions. Is that right? Yes. So when you use synthesizer and select preset, and this is like a random proposal of a preset. Sometimes I get that feeling from using flow machines. This is electronica.
優しげなメロディーがあれ
Soft and gentle melody.
割と今回もなんか細かめのメロディーが出てます。
すごいですね。
And
こういうのとかやっぱ
the notes are very short, very quick.
作れるかって言われたらやっぱりそんなことな
This kind of things is actually quite difficult to use if you try to do it yourself.
ある意味極端な提案とかもさせてみて
And sometimes the suggestions are a little bit extreme, but it is very useful as a starting point for your own composition. That's what's great about this application. So you can learn a lot from the kind of style palette you would never use or never used before, right? Yes, that's right. Chord transition template itself on its own is already very useful. Because if you're a beginner at composing music, you can actually learn how the jazz chord transition works. And also, you get so many suggestions. We went back to jazz, but completely different from what we heard before. That's right. You can also make minor adjustments to a small section of this whole music sheet. And by fine-tuning, adjusting, you can create the best possible melody that you want.
なんていうんですかね、手癖自体をより強めるみたいな方向で言うと、
You can also strengthen your own usual pattern or taste, your own unique features of your music. So the AI is thinking now. So if you have your own chord transition, it can be recorded in step. And for example, you can use this piano keyboard and make the AI learn the melody and produce something based on that melody. So you can feed a piece of melody to the AI to make the AI think and come back with a suggestion. So AI can give you really extreme, unexpected suggestions or suggestions that are more or less in line with what you usually do. And that's what makes flow machines very interesting. You can control these different parameters.
So, depending on the competency of the composer, you can actually expand on that. And if you have some weaknesses, you can actually complement that with the AI as well. So that I think is very good. So I think we are embarking on an era where, in a true sense, your sense is in higher demand, yes, because it is the world of AI. So when you create music, and I think the phases approaching music creation will change dramatically as a result. I do agree with that. And I do believe that we can look forward to how this will formate. So the iPad version, we had a quick demo performed by tofubeats, so thank you. So for the two of you, I think you've seen it for the first time. I think using the keyboards is quite nice. So we actually feed the actual music source and have the AI learn. But I think the keyboard is quite a good approach. And so this is using the features of iPad. And you, yes, when you're commuting to school or to maybe the office, you can just listen and listen and listen. And then if something sparks, you can archive that. And then you can take that back home with you and edit as needed. So I think this is a new way of enjoying music as well, music composition, that is. So this was released in September. You can download this free of charge. And so once again, we encourage you to check the mobile version of Flow Machines. Now for Flow Machines, Miura-san and Sohbana-san, both of you created a piece using flow machines. So let us listen to that piece. So we'll first listen to the music piece created by Sohbana-san. So we just heard the piece created by Sohbana. So what are some of the highlights of this piece? I think there's a question of where I used AI. So in the very beginning, the part that you're listening here, so you have this sort of fluffy sound on the two sides. So it was 170, but I actually used 340 for this piece. Anything else? Or everything else you created? So the lyrics and the melody, used something that I already had on hand. And there's also one other section, the chorus, the background synthesizer. I didn't just want to transition the chords over and over again, so I used AI there. So Miura-san, any comments? I think the guitar phrase, I thought that maybe you were using some of the AI ideas. No, unfortunately not. So that was what you did, right? And tofubeats, listening to this piece, I think this is really nice. And the counter melodies as well. It's just the perfect balance, I think. And you tend to want to encourage AI to do that main melody, but what did you actually have AI learn to create this? So I used the template as is, the bright top number 2, I think it was. And you can edit the chords, so I used that. So you had the basics, and then you use the chords, right? And you have a vocal as well, so it does sound very futuristic. Thank you. So in other words, it's this fusion between you and AI. All right, then let us move on to Miura-san. He also created a piece for us. All right, so we had Miura-san create a music piece as well. So again, what are some of the highlights, and where did you use flow machines? So where are used flow machines? So the two type of synthesizer sounds that you see, so that melody as well as starting and the avant-garde of the synthesizer all the way up to the chorus, or the end of the chorus, that is. So the sound that we're hearing right now, is that it? Or is this it? Not yet. No, this is me. This is me, actually, what you're hearing. This melody right now that you're seeing, that you're hearing right now, this one. So I already had this image of the melody as well as the chord, and then I set that first, and then I overlaid that with flow machines. So how long did it take to get this melody? I click compose button, and then a few times, I think it was 3, the third time I chose, but if you click once, it gives you some suggestions. So a very short sound that felt comfortable to my ears, I would choose select those sounds. So tofubeats, so you can actually use this in a way where you just use a very short duration. Exactly. So I think that, you sort of break away from your standard practice, your standard familiarity. All right, so for you, how long did it take when you used flow machines? So until I got to that number 342, it took a while. And what was it? Complexity, where you can actually fine-tune the parameters. So out of this chaos, I selected, so it was about 25 takes until I finally got it right to my satisfaction. I see, but ultimately it does give you something. I think that is wonderful, I think. So the two of you, thank you very much for creating that music piece for us. And tofubeats, you've also used flow machines before this session. So using it in actuality, some thoughts, some comments that you'd like to share with us? So sometimes AI gives us these ideas very far-fetched from what I'm familiar with. So it does take time to sort of swim through what I want. But the fact that it's not human, but this machine is offering me something, and that itself dramatically changes the way I approach music composition. And so psychologically as well, it's a big difference. And I do believe that the impact of that is manifested in a song. So what is this, the psychological impact? So if a human person would give me some ideas, it's difficult to say no to it. But I leave the room once and then I come back, and then you see or you hear a different melody. You hear something different. You think that, this is something different. I'm taking this to a different level. And obviously I believe that this will impact the final outcome of the piece that I compose. So I'm really looking forward to how this will all iron out. So fate is perhaps a word that you use. Fate. So, but it sounds very human. You also said it was adorable. It was cute as well. So the longer that you encounter and you use flow machines, I think that it becomes a partner that will actually tune up or fine-tune itself to become a true partner. I think there will be musicians that will use flow machines in that way. So Miura-san, with these new tools, how do you think it will change the music creation scene?
So in the beginning, I know I want to make something, but I don't know where to start. And flow machines can really help with the first step. Right. For example, you want to sing, but you cannot play instruments, or you can only play a limited number of instruments. For those people, maybe this is a great way of composing music. And also, if you don't know enough about chord transition, it doesn't really matter. And this is going to be a great learning tool too. Yes, I would like to keep it for a while if that's possible. Yes, let's ask Sony if it's possible, and I hope that you'll use it for a long time. tofubeats, technology and music, they're really converging, integrating. How is it going to impact music? Well, I like technology. I do use AI other than flow machines. And like I said before, it's very interesting how the humans get impacted by technology. When you're exposed to something that you have never known before, what kind of music do you make? That's something that I'm really interested in as a musician and also as a producer. So I hope that I can continue to use it this way. Well, traditionally, there were some evolutions or transitions. Maybe flow machines is going to be a new beginning. Yes, everybody can use it, and it's free of charge. It's a real breakthrough, and I hope that this is going to be more improved and continue to evolve. We're looking forward to it. Sohbana, what do you think about the future of music, technology and music coming together? Well, this is a bit of a metaphor, but several decades ago, desktop computers emerged, and it transformed the way people work. I think it's similar. I mean, I'm sure that people use computers to make music already, but AI is really clever in a machine kind of way. So I think we're really entering a new era right now. This is a huge thing that's happening. Yes, in the past we used a PC as a tool for creation, but now the machine is part of the creative process. I'm sure that this is a big transition. Miura-san, what do you think? Well, I think the main theme today is AI, but there are also other technologies. For example, Dolby Atmos and IMAX in movie theaters. I think sound-wise we're seeing big progress. And music-wise, I would say that that's helping me a lot. I get a lot of stimulation from those technological advancements. So I'm hoping that AI will be a good partner for my music making process. Yes, really taking AI into your life and the music making process. Now, we would like to respond to some of the questions that we have received. First question goes to tofubeats. AI and DJ, they have battled against each other. Do you think a flow machine will be able to battle against a DJ, human DJ? Well, flow machines is not really a DJ machine, so I don't think it's possible. But in the past, we did AI-based DJ, and actually I beat AI completely. But that was a very rare and valuable experience in my life, because we basically played one song after the other, and it was a real experience of battling against AI. I think the music feeding technology will enable flow machines to become DJ. I'm sure that Sony can make it, and I'll be happy to monitor that process. Yes, maybe song-making competition is possible. You don't tell the audience which one was made by human versus AI, and maybe we can ask which melody or which song they preferred. That's possible. That's entirely possible, I would say. But I'm a little bit scared about knowing the result. But I'm happy that you won the DJ competition. Yes, I'd be happy to compete against AI if it happens. Thank you. Next question is to Sohbana. When you make the Vocaloid songs, would you find flow machines useful? It's not really limited to Vocaloids. Vocaloid songs, actually, there's a huge range and variations. And yes, popular ones may fall within a similar category, but there are completely different variations. So Vocaloid is great because you can make anything in any way you like and release it. So I hope that more people will come into the Vocaloid music making with flow machines. Yes, some people really like listening to Vocaloids, but they don't know how to make music. But now they have flow machines in their hands. Right, the beginning is already there. Right, so all we need to do is write the good lyrics. Wow, what a great time we're living in. Completely unexpected suggestions made by AI. I hope that I'll be a big enough person, human, to be able to accept and take advantage of that. If the suggestions by AI is completely strange or out there, I hope that I can still take advantage of that. Last question is to Miura-san. If you use flow machines, maybe vocal or Vocaloids cannot really sing that tune. Would that possible? Would that be possible? Yes, that happens. So if you jump a full octave or higher, that's very difficult for humans to sing. But you can actually select that. And as tofubeats said, you can select a small section of the song and remake that part to make it easier. You can just select the pieces that you like and combine them. Thank you. Thank you very much for answering the questions. Now the time's up for part 1 of today's program. Music Creator Meets AI, Flow Machines. Sohbana, what did you think? Well, this was a great learning experience for myself. And I'll be looking forward to the following programs. Thank you. Miura-san, I was very honored to have been invited today. And using flow machines, if Sony would allow me to use flow machines going forward, I would like to make more songs. And tofubeats, I'm very happy to see the birth of something completely new. So I hope that Sony will come up with newer versions for DJ and others. Be looking forward to that. Thank you. Now, flow machines was distributed to 20 people, and we will see how the workshop went, and we will also explain how to use flow machines in greater details. We would like to ask the audience to respond to the questionnaire. Please use the link from the comment box to respond to the questionnaire. And in the Sony Group Instagram account, special Instagram Live online tour for the Sony Square will be shown, and the date and time for this live will be shown on the channel. Please follow the Instagram account. I would like to thank tofubeats, Sohbana, and Miura-san for being a part of this. Thank you, and see you later in part 2.
さあパート1に続いて後半
Continuing on from part 1, we would now like to move on to part 2 of flow machines. We are focusing on the appeal of flow machines as well as the possibility of future music creation. I will continue to be acting as your MC for the session as well. My name is Kosuke Hiraiwa. Unlock with Sony focuses on spark your curiosity for the next, stimulating curiosity for the future and liberating the possibilities of new entertainment. So by stimulating such curiosity, we believe that we can liberate a new entertainment. And in true sense, it is unlock. So this is an online event, and towards the latter half of this streaming session, we will have time allocated to accept questions and comments from the viewers as well. So you can fill in the comments as well as use the hashtag #UnlockWithSony as well for tweets. We do request that you agree to regulations beforehand. You can also see this session in English as well. On the upper half of this screen, you should see a language button, and you can listen in English if you wish to do so. So this is again part 2 of flow machines. So from Sony CSL, Sony Computer Science Laboratories, Flow Machines plugin was introduced in part 1, and we would like to further deep dive throughout part 2 as well. So without further ado, let us introduce the guests for this session. From DATS, we have with us MONJOE. Hello, my name is MONJOE. So curiosity for me, it is the stream of creativity. So you are the vocal and you're in charge of lyrics at the 4-people rock band DATS, and you also offer various music to Taichi Mukai and Amy as well, and you also are creating commercial music as well. So next we have Ailey. So yes, my name is Ailey from, and I'm a track maker. So some of my comments overlap. So for me, curiosity is the core of my creativity. So I'm very much looking forward to this session. So Ailey, you are a track maker, very focused and very good at combining a cappella, and you are also a member of Story by Story Shibuya, which is a Sony Music hosted project that focuses on next generation artists and creators. So we may have some conflict in the audio at the moment, but so MONJOE, you saw Flow Motions beforehand, and what were your comments? I first thought that music composers would be out of a job. I felt that it was that innovative. So from the chord transition to the melody to the rhythm, AI gives suggestions, gives you ideas. So for the beginner, it is a very good entry point, and it opens the gateway for music composition. So, right, so AI accelerates the steps, doesn't it, in music creation? Correct. So I'll ask later as to how you can actually coexist. So Ailey, same question for you. This is exactly what I wanted. This is the tool that I wanted. So usually I am inspired by sounds, and then I would start my creative work. So in terms of my creativity style, this is just perfect, and it supports me when I'm stuck as well. So I do believe that this is a very strong supporting tool. So how can we utilize AI? I think I'd like to ask a bit more in detail later on as well. So I think we have some mixed channels with the audio at the moment. So perhaps we are getting some of the video feed. All right, so we do apologize for that confusion. So let us continue. So, flow machines. 20 creators that were selected. We had them attend a music creation work session, and MONJOE, who is here with us today, was a teacher for that session. So we are going to listen to the BGM as well as to how flow machines created that BGM, and we'll also show you some images from the work session as well. So let us see a quick video showing you that work session. So, do you think that it's actually a smoother inspiration for you using flow machines? Yes, because I can fix on the chords from the start. And then flow machines, we create the melody, and I can tune it to my likes and tastes as well. So I found it very easy to actually compose a piece. And you use flow machines? Some comments? So you know, it's like a genius at your fingertips giving me ideas constantly, so it's quite shocking. So do you think it will expand the horizon in your music creation? Yes, I think it will. It definitely will. And we just heard Mind Watch from Ayako, so some thoughts. So the data volume of AI, I think it's critical to make that right selection. So I think it's the source of artists as well for Sony, I heard. So I think it's highly credible in that regard, and I felt that it was quite interesting to use, and I felt safe using it as well. So it was a very up-tempo house music piece. So what were some highlights of this piece? The melody I used from flow machines. So rather than mixing and matching all sorts of melodies, I can actually just use one melody. I can change the tone, the tonality, and I can very much focus on that. That was a lovely piece. So you were the vocal in this piece? Yes, that was me. That was wonderful. It's a beautiful voice, Mayu-san. And you have no experience, right, in music creation? Exactly. But on my own, I could choose the chords, I could use the melody. So it's the first time for me. So you use flow machines. Your impressions? Melody lines that I could never imagine were suggested. And even if it's the same chord, the patterns, the genres, you know, just this variety of patterns was very, very helpful. So, MONJOE, you've been with us throughout the day for this work session. Any thoughts? This, 3 hours? It was a very concentrated 3 hours. So it was probably beyond your imagination how you can use flow machines. Yes, for me as well. It was a very good learning session as well. It was quite interesting. All right, thank you. So the 20 that were selected, we had this work session, and MONJOE, you listened to all of the pieces created by the 20 participants. There were a lot of ideas. So in hindsight, again, some thoughts. So the way they used flow machines they were all very different. That was interesting. To what extent do you entrust the work to the computer? To what extent do you actually do things on your own? So the way you balance that is different from person to person as well. So it was very different, wasn't it? Yes. So some who had a longer experience in music creation, they had a sense of maybe pride as well. So for those with more experience in music creation, they tried to make computer music not sound like computer music. So they were a bit creative because they had that experience. So that itself was a good learning session for me as well.
Yeah, it was really interesting to see the different relationships. Eileen, what did you think? I was really surprised how differently the music came out depending on who the creator was. I think they all come from a different background and they're basically different artists. Right, Mayo-san sang a song. She's a vocalist and she never wrote a song before, but she wanted to sing. So she decided to make this original song. So maybe the scope of creativity will expand. Yes, I think so. It's actually shocking to see that total beginner can make such a great music. Yes, we had some great vocalists too. We're talking about AI, but still you have to somehow make the music resonate in people. You have to emotionally move people. Can the AI really do that? That was a big question. But I think the creator, like Mayo-san, can do that transition and make music that will move people. So creativity and AI working together, making something even greater. I think that is the objective. So it was great to see so many different types of creativities with the flow machines. On the official flow machines website, you will find the pieces of music made in the work session, including the ones that we could not introduce today. So, two of our guests today have also used flow machines to create music, which will be played for the first time today. We'll start with MONJOE, yours.
さあということでね、モンジョーさんにフローマシーンズを使って作っていただいた楽曲をお聴きいただきました。
That was a piece of music made by MONJOE using flow machines. What were your thoughts when you made this? Right, so I started with a chord transition. That's my usual way. But actually, this time around, flow machines did that for me. How long did it take for it to come up with this melody? Well, this is the core of the piece of music, so I spent a long time pressing the compose button many times before I heard something that I liked, maybe 10 times? Right, because that's the core of your music. I think we can look at a screen later for more explanation. Next, I would like to hear the piece of music made by Airi, our guest.
さあということでアイリーさんにも曲を作っていただきました。
Okay, we had the music by Airi. How did this come about? Melody, chord, and rhythm. All of these three important elements were taken from flow machines. Oh, really? Yes. I selected preset chords and generated the melody, and the riff was something that really stuck in my mind. And I really wanted to use Japanese instruments like koto. So I combined those elements to create this really sensitive type of music. So is it very different from how you usually make music? Yes, usually I begin with something already in my mind. But this time around, I made this piece of music from a simple melody. Right, and you kept pressing the button until you were happy. Yes, I tend to tweak the duration a lot. But in the end, you were happy with this, right? Yes, I was. Okay, this was music made by Ari with flow machines. Now, let's look at how flow machines can be used. We want to ask MONJOE to explain to us. I see that you already have your computer open. So let's take a look at the actual flow machines. So this is what the screen looks like when you open it, I guess? Yes. First, you have to select Style Palette. So the genre of music that you want to create, you can select that category from here. That's how you start. In my case, I'm trying to remember which style palette I chose for this particular song. I cannot really remember. But, for example, you would choose this and then try these different variations. Selecting from a random palette and hearing something that is surprising, like surprise box. I think it's also fun. Oh, I see. So you're not really concerned about which style palette you choose. That's right. So today I just select the style palette from Jazz Fusion section. And what you're hearing right now is the suggested combination of chord and melody. And visually this is what it looks like.
で、さっきデュレーションって言葉がありましたけど、
Duration was mentioned earlier.
今すごいメロディーが細かく刻まれてる
Right
ので、も
now,
うちょっとその
the
長い
melody is in small
長い
steps.
音で、
So we want to make one single note last a little bit longer, in which case you can change this parameter, duration,
増やして
increase the number,
コンポーズをしてみる。
and press compose once again.
あれ変わって
あれちょっと
変わってないか。
That wasn't a big difference,
やっぱアドリブっぽい
I
の
guess.
がジャズなんでね。たくさん
Well, this is jazz template, so
変わりました
I
ね。
think the AI is ad-libbing. Oh, now it's changed.
みたいな感じでこ
So now that's
う
how it sounds.
自分が気に入るメロディーが出てくるまでこういう
You can keep playing with this
パラメータを
until
いじりながら
you
何
hear
回
the
も
melody that you really like. You can continue to tweak these parameters.
全然違くなりますよ
Wow, a simple change in duration changes the impression completely. Yes, somehow it becomes more catchy, becomes more like a song rather
でこ
than
のハーモニー
a
っていうのは
jazz music.
この調に対して
And the
今A
harmony,
マイナーっていう調で
right now, this is A minor
A マイナーのキーで
and what is the melody that goes with A
パ
minor?
ラメータでこれが
That's the
その例え
parameter.
ばマックス1だったら
So if
もう
it's
完
set
璧にそ
at
の
maximum of 1.0, it means that it's a complete match, but you can also go off key
追加されてきます
by
よ
reducing this number.
大地さんあえて外してみて
So you can go off key on purpose to play with it, is that right? That's correct.
ですね
うん
でここがコード
And these are the chords, as you can note here.
ここの部分だけコード
And
ちょっと変
here,
えてみた
you
い
can just alter some of the chords here.
細かい変更
Very detailed
みたいなのも
changes
できる
can be adjusted down here below.
こういうふうにいじれるんですけど
So here you can manipulate.
定まってきた時に
And once you find
ドラ
something
ッグ&ドロップってボタン
close to
で
final, use the drag and drop.
配置できるんですよね
And you can actually
生成
adjust
してくれるん
it
ですよねで
here.
この MIDI データがあると
So if you have this MIDI data, as you saw here,
好きな音で
you can actually use the sound that you
流
like
れてるメロディーを流せる
and play the melody.
でこういう例えばこのコードが気に入ったから
So let's say you like this chord
その
and you
他のトラック
can
で
use
他の
this
使ってみたいって言った時
in
にこうや
a
ってペーストして
different track, so you can just paste it
そ
over
の音で
and it will use that exact sound.
自分の好きな音でこう使えるみたいな
So you can use
使い
this
方をして
in this way,
作っ
which
ていったんですけど、
うん
はい
is the approach that I took.
いいですよね
So the strong affinity is quite nice, isn't it? Yes.
この制作ソフトと
So the creation soft, it's actually working in strong collaboration, which is making it very, very easy to
僕
use.
はそのコードを先に決めてもらって
So I usually decide the chords first, as I said,
始めたんですけどで
and
コード
then
決まった
I
後
moved on. So I have these fixed chords. I think this was it.
はいでこれだけだと面白くないので
And
メロディー
leaving it as is
を
is
やっ
not
てもらおうっていう
all
ので
that fun, so I moved on to the melody.
これですねこういうものが出てきて
はい
And then you see something like this.
の流します
So I'm just going to use the sound that I selected.
なんかすごいロボットっぽい音って
It sounds very robotic.
不気味じゃないですけ
It's
ど
a bit eerie.
いやこんなメロディー自分が作ってる時に絶対使
So
わない
I would never use such a melody when I am creating music. It would never even pop up in my head. So the fact that AI suggests something like this is, I believe, the experience of working with AI. So that is why I intentionally adopted this idea.
の部分で
And for the drop,
サブベースと
sub bass, and this melody, I combined.
推し進めていくような展開
And we push forward with this.
こう作業しながらインスパイアされてい
So
った感じですか。
そうですね
when you're creating, you get inspired along the
使える
way.
んじゃないかなとかこの
I think that was the approach because maybe this phrase I can use, maybe this melody I can use, or maybe this might work.
取捨選択しながら
So I select along the way. And Eileen as well, when you create music, did you encounter melodies that you would never imagine? So as a creator, are you enticed to use that? Yes.
ちょっとモンジュさん逆にね AI からの挑戦みたいな
And Mojo, you feel that it's like a challenge from AI.
ちょっとやってみようかなとか合うかもみたいな
So you give it a
使
try.
ったらよく聞こえるかな
And how can I
やっぱ考え
incorporate this to make it sound better? So it makes me
考
think.
えないようなことを
So once again, it makes me think about things that I would usually never think about when I create music, which I found quite interesting.
作り手のねこう幅が広がってる瞬間
And I think it's the moment where the creator's horizon expands, correct? Yes, because that melody that you just heard,
ドロップで使っ
I used drop,
使ったんですけどその後
but then thereafter, I thought maybe I could use this for the bass as
だ
well.
ったんですよねあえ
And so I gave that a try.
それがどれだこれか
And I think, yes, this was
これ
it.
ですね
はい
これベースで使って
So I applied this to bass.
こんなみたいな感じで、はい、
So it turned out to be something like this.
ゲームのボス戦みたい
It sounds like
すごいの出てきたぞ
the BGM that you hear in a game.
じゃああえてこう普段使わないようなところも含めて
So again, you intentionally try to incorporate sounds that you would not use on your own.
ということでかなりねその作曲の幅が
I see. So again, I think it will actually
ましたありがとうございました
expand your horizon.
ここで配信ご覧の皆さんからの質問に答えて
So now, let us move on to some questions that have been raised by the viewers. So let me move on to the first question. So when using flow machines and not using flow machines, do you think your music changes? So Eileen?
やっぱり自分の中にはもう全くなかった要素が加わるの
The
で
fact that
変わるなという
I incorporate something that I would never have thought of on my own, I think it has changed my music. It will change my music. So
どんどん変えて
perhaps you want to change your music using flow machines? Yes, for me, I do want to use it because
作った料理は美味しいけど自分が
It's
作る
like
とちょっとって感じること
if you cook something for yourself, it doesn't taste that good, but if somebody cooks for you, it tastes delicious. So it's the same sort of concept because AI is suggesting something to me. It seems so new. It seems fresh. I see. So that's sort of the zone that you're in.
ことあるんですか
あります
So with the melodies you create, you feel that
い
way?
いですねじゃあちょっとそこを補ってくれる
So it actually supplements or complements your work. So we look forward to that collaboration. And for you?
まあもちろんその自分が普段ね自分の手癖じゃないようなメロディーが
So again, breaking away from my norm, I think that in itself is different, but how you cook it, so to speak, is all about the musician.
聞いてて僕初めてアイリーさんの音楽聞いたんですけど
And I heard Eileen's music for the first time, but I feel that,
同じように
I feel the person she is from her music, and I felt that way during the work session as well.
によってその人の
Depending on how you use the AI,
様々変わってくるので
the character of that person, that musician,
その自分
is reflected
違っててもやっぱり
in the music. So the melody might be different.
その出てどうしても出てくるんです
But I think that regardless,
意味で
this,
その
the sense of that person,
してその人間
the attributes of that person are drawn out. So you use AI, but actually the humans also give life to it,
なんか面白いね
and it expands once again what can be done.
2つ目の質
All
問
right, so then let me move on to a second question that we
フローシー
received.
ズ初心者でも使えるとのことでしたが
So from machines a beginner can use,
使うにあたって
but in using flow machines, what are some skill sets that you should have, perhaps, upon usage?
あった方がいいスキルは
Skill sets that you might need?
を増やしておく
I think that it's about just
インスパイアされやすくなるんじゃないか
maybe opening your own heart,
スキルというか
making yourself more vulnerable to inspirations.
っていうのが
Listening to more music, I think, would be a good step to prepare yourselves for using flow machines. And you said you agree. So any thoughts? So yes, I think it's not about the skill set, it's about that curiosity. Do you have that curiosity? and through the workshops as well, the work sessions, genres that you've never experienced in the past. I think Flow Machines is a good springboard to understand what are the chord transitions that are being used. And I think somebody mentioned that in the work session. So Flow Machines actually triggers or stimulates curiosity. It gives you sort of a push. Right, and you said this at the workshop as well. Out of the melodies that came out of AI, the picking and the choosing is critical. And so it's about what the musician has to choose from. And I think that actually decides whether that music ultimately is very much like the music that that musician would create on his or her own. All right, so then let's move on to the next question. I love singing, but is it possible to create hit songs using Flow Machines? We might edit the music elsewhere, but is it possible to create a future where Flow Machines is used to create the music, but then the vocals are separate? I think that I cannot deny the possibility of that future. So you're saying that the quality was that good for music composition? Yes. And motion? Yes. I think it's possible. It's definitely possible. So in the intro video, Mayo, the singer, she's never experienced creating music. She loves singing, and she just said that she wanted to sing. And along with Hiraiwa-san, I think we were very amazed at her talent. So even without a music composer, regardless, you have to make that music your own somehow. And once you do make that music your own, even without a composer, I think you breathe life into that piece. So I think it is a possibility.
Pure vocalists had to work with somebody else in order to have the music written for them. But maybe in the near future, the situation will be completely different. So we looked at how Flow Machines is used, how the workshop was done, and we had a lot of discussions about this and answered questions. And it's already time for us to close the program for today. Aili, what did you think about today's event? Well, in the past, people were worried about AI taking away the job of writing music, but actually AI is enhancing, expanding our capabilities. Yes, this is something we can really look forward to. And MONJOE, what do you think? AI makes these different suggestions, which means that well, some people questioned the artistic value of the creator if they used AI, but what I would say is, in the end, the AI has to be utilized by a person, and depending on who that person is, there are so many different great possibilities. Depending on how you use the AI, you may end up creating a huge hit. And yes, in the beginning I had concerns AI might take my job away, but now I'm really looking forward to this as a creator. Yes, AI is doing all these tasks, but that means that creators need to be even more human and even more creative. On the 9th of September, iPad version was released, and this app is free of charge, available for use for everyone and anyone. You can go to the App Store or download from this QR code. I hope that you will enjoy experiencing Flow Machines to create your own music. Now, tomorrow, Sword Art Online will be the theme, engagement of a creator and virtual world. We will be talking about the possibilities of a virtual world. Top creators including Yoichi Ochiai will be there. And we would like to ask the audience to respond to a simple questionnaire from the comment section. Sony Group Instagram official account will be distributing special online tour Instagram Live for Sony Square, and this information will be shared on the channel as it becomes ready. Please follow the Instagram account of Sony Group. Well, thank you very much, MONJOE and Eileen, for joining us. Thank you and see you tomorrow.